Is it just me, or does it feel like everyone posts the same exact content over and over again on Instagram? And then they wonder why they're not growing. If you really want to blow up your beauty business, then you need to stick out. Copying your competition and doing exactly what they do is going to give you the opposite of blowing up your account. You are just going to be one of the many in a sea of who. So today I'm going to show you exactly how to carve out a space just for yourself and actually stick out. But before I can do that, I first need you to understand how things are different on social media now so that you can grow faster. To best demonstrate what's working on the app right now, let's take a look at Alix Earle. Alix was actually just a regular college student at the University of Miami a couple of years ago, and she started making videos of herself getting ready to go out to college parties and different events, and she blew up to become one of the fastest growing profiles on TikTok, which bled over into millions of followers on her Instagram and her YouTube channel as well. So Alix had a problem. She wanted to stand out in a sea of content creators, but didn't know how. And at first, she tried mimicking what she saw other people doing. Trendy dances, lip syncing, doing the challenges on TikTok. None of that was working. She was embarrassing herself with low views, and everybody at her college and in her family and from her high school was watching her fail. This was, coincidentally, the #1 reason that students tell me that they won't show up on camera. Everybody is afraid of showing up on camera and being rejected by the internet for everyone that they know in real life to see. So Alix realized that blending in was not going to cut it. Instead, she needed to do something different, something uniquely her own. So Alix decided to pivot. And instead of following the crowd, she began creating Get Ready With Me content. She'd show herself doing her makeup, and while she was doing her makeup, she would chat about her day or things going on in her house with her roommates or little snippets of her life, things that happened at a party last night. This was a significant shift because it was authentic and it was relatable. People were really drawn to her personality, to her genuine approach, and her willingness to just be herself on camera. And as she continued posting these, she started to see results. Her follower count started climbing, slowly at first, but then really rapidly. And people loved her honesty. They loved her style. She felt like a friend that they were hanging out with, not like someone who was creating content. She wasn't just a face in the crowd. She was Alix, the girl who invited you into her life every day. Alix's follower count actually skyrocketed, and she became TikTok famous pretty quickly. Brands were reaching out to her. She started going on collabs and going on brand trips. Her content was spreading across to other platforms. So her success wasn't just about getting viral, but about creating a space where her content was uniquely hers and people felt a genuine connection to Alix. So she was able to break through and grow at lightning speed because she stumbled into two of the greatest marketing lessons. #1 is the law of leadership. #2 is the law of category. Don't worry, I'm going to explain them. So first, let me explain the law of leadership. We can go ahead and just rename that so that it's easy to digest, and we'll call it the rule of being first. The key to standing out on social media is not about following trends, but about being authentically yourself. It's better to be first than even to be the best. Every product you think of is because it was the first one that you heard of, not because it's necessarily the best, which by the way is very subjective, right? A few notable examples just off the top of my head, I would say Coca-Cola, Hertz Rental Cars, Harvard University. Is Harvard the best university? Maybe, but it was the first. First beer, imported beer, Heineken was the first imported beer. They still own 30% of that market space. Being first is great, fastest wins. But what about you? You are not going to be the first permanent makeup artist in your town or the first hair salon in your town, right? That's where the second rule comes in, the rule of category. So we're just going to rename this one the rule of next first. Alix was in no way the first person who ever posted a Get Ready With Me video. She didn't invent blogging. She wasn't the first TikToker to do her makeup on camera. Instead, she accidentally learned the rule of category. She wasn't the first TikToker. She wasn't the first TikToker to do her makeup, but she was the first TikToker to do it the way Alix does it. Amelia Earhart was not the first person to fly across the Atlantic solo. By the way, why would you even want to fly across the Atlantic by yourself? Raw dogging that flight with no one to chat with? Hard pass. No, but she was the first woman to fly across the Atlantic solo. And before you say that's not very impressive, please tell me, who was the second person to do it? Exactly. You are not the first facialist in town. That's fine. Maybe you are the first to specialize in vampire facials or in Morpheus 8. Maybe you are not the first permanent makeup artist. That's okay. You can be the first to specialize in nanoblading or natural hair patterns or infallible brows. Make up your own category. Capitalize on being the first one to do blank. Now that you understand how to be the first in your category and separate yourself from everyone else in town who's selling the exact same services as you, you can fill your books easily, as long as you understand which category is important to your clients. Don't worry, I've got an entire video on exactly what to say to get your perfect clients on your books right here. Go ahead and watch this video next, and I'll see you there. Best demonstrate what is working on social media apps right now. We're gonna take a deep dive look at a little lady named, I don't like that, a little lady to best, I can hold it. But before I can do that, I first need you to understand, little lady is so funny. That is so funny.